Hi coaches, I'm Andrea Bruno and one of the team leads here at College for America, and I'm here to talk a little bit about some of our core coaching competencies. And when we think about the space that we're creating with our students as we develop the relationship with them, one really important competency that falls under the bucket of be there is to create a non-judgmental and safe space. And the reason this is important is because we want our students to feel that they can trust us and that the dialogue that happens between us is about non-judgment, just looking for ways that will work for the student, and that will allow them to be more open and honest with us, which in turn helps us to better support them. So a couple ways of achieving the non-judgmental and safe space. The absolute first step is that you, the coach, have to have a pure belief in the student that they have the answers for themselves. So you want to avoid saying things like, well, you really need to ... And you want to try to be more in line with, how do you want that to look like? Or what do you think might work for you here? And to give a more tangible example, if you're working with a student on maybe creating the habit of CfA and how they're trying to weave things into their life, you can't assume what's going on at home and around their schedule. So that's why you want to avoid, well, you really should try to put 10 hours a week in. Or, you probably should try to do some work after you come home from work, or maybe on the weekends. To create a non-judgmental space, you have to assume that they have the answers and that they know what's right for them and not you having the answers. So if you were to say, when do you have the most energy to work on CfA? Because that's going to be a really important element. Or what kind of environment do you need to create for yourself at home, or maybe it's at the office, whatever. Where do you think you'll be best able to focus on your work? And put it on them to explore and find the answers for themselves. If you're providing answers or you're challenging some of the things that they've tried, that's making them feel judged, or that you're the one who's going to tell them how to do things. A lot of times as you're creating this non-judgmental and safe space, I will just tell students outright, I'm not here to tell you what's going to work for you. I'm here to create a space for you to explore how to make this work, and you're going to come up with the solutions yourself. We're going to work on it together. Another key element I would say is to try to be completely unattached to the student's answers, okay? And that will allow you to believe more in them and to create a non-judgmental space. It frees you from being right, and it frees you from feeling one way or the other about the responses and the ideas that they come up with. One tip, and I think that would help as a coach as they're trying to incorporate this into their practice, is maybe to keep that creative, resourceful, and whole somewhere visual in the space that they work. I find that just kind of as a mantra is really helpful in helping me. It reminds me that the student can do this. The student is creative, resourceful, and whole. I do not have to find all the answers for them. And that helps me to get into a non-judgmental space. And I also like to just, as I said before, tell them outright, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to help you explore what's going to be the best way for you to do this. Okay, so I have a story of where this was kind of student feedback that actually told me that I was doing a good job creating a non-judgmental and safe space. We were talking about the Coaching Alliance and how she was using me as a resource, and she said, I always find our conversations encouraging, and when I think of a coach, I imagine someone just yelling at me and telling me to work harder. And so I sometimes get nervous, and then whenever we talk, I always feel a lot better. And I remember thinking, well, thank God. I don't know why she would assume that I would yell at her, but I'm relieved that she was happy to see that I did not. But it also highlights the need for us to consciously design this alliance and consciously look for ways to show how we are non-judging in this relationship. But I just thought that was a fun story.